Hello, and welcome to the Pain Free Lifestyle Podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Geiger. I am a pain management coach and neuromuscular therapist. I want to share specific strategies and tools to help you get out of pain so you can live a happy and healthy lifestyle. If you're interested in that, please subscribe to the podcast, give this episode a like, and also comment on what your biggest takeaway was from today's episode. Let's get into it. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how to use the power of listening to your body to relieve your pain. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of it all, I want to first talk about why it's important and what listening to your body even means. So, first off, listening to your body means that you are being mindful of the sensations that you feel in your body. And why this is important is because this is how your body communicates to you. This is how your body lets you know if it's hungry, if it's full, if it's safe, if it's tired, if it's in pain, and what those things can mean. We're going to talk about how to interpret those sensations that you feel and what they could potentially mean for you. Another reason why it's important for you to listen to your body and not rely on other people to tell you what to do is because you can't. You can't rely on them. You can't rely on research even because it changes. Now, I say that, and at the same time, I am definitely someone who believes in research and believes in the science. But my personal philosophy is combining knowledge with intuition because even like the old egg, that changes. It used to be really bad for you, and now it's really healthy for you, And so things can change, but what doesn't change is your body's ability to speak to you. Okay, I take that back too. Your body's ability to speak to you can change. And we're going to talk about how you can actually impact that alone. So then you are able to listen to your body better and be able to do all the things that you want to do without feeling too much pain. Again, the reason it's important is because this is how your body communicates with you, and you got to learn what your body needs. Because even if you do go on the research, you can be that 20% that's different, that the research doesn't actually work for. And so just because most people may benefit from something doesn't mean that you are going to be one of those people. And that's okay because, everyone is unique, everyone is different. We're all made up of the same thing, just in different amounts. So we really need to learn to listen to our own body and be able to maneuver based on that. Now, I also, like I said, believe in, knowledge and having a foundation, but also knowing that knowledge and foundation can change. So what you really want to focus on is your ability to listen to your body and being able to interpret that and adapt accordingly. So one term I want to share with you today is called interoception. Now, interoception is our body's natural God-given ability to listen to our bodies. It is how we pick up those sensations in our body. It's us being aware and feeling the sensations in our body. This is our gift and it's our nature, which can be nurtured or it can be hindered. And I'm going to talk just a little bit about this because honestly, I feel like this could be a whole podcast on its own. But the way that you, first off, nurture this process is being willing to ask your body, what it needs, what it's trying to tell you, and then adapting whatever you're doing or making a decision and taking action based on that, that's going to positively impact your body and ultimately make you feel good, make you feel better. That actually builds the relationship with you and your body, and that builds your ability to have good interoception and to nurture that ability. So then again, you're able to better pick up the sensations, and it's really going to become like second nature to you because it is our nature. And at the same time, this process can be hindered due to stress. And stress is like a 4-letter word, like I am definitely someone who believes that we can minimize our stress, but I do not believe that we can eliminate our stress. And instead of focusing on eliminating all stress, like, yes, we should minimize it as much as possible. But what we really need to do is become more resilient to our stress and know, that stress is part of us and know that stress can impact this ability. So, people can either be like hyposensitive or hypersensitive with interoception, which means that when they're hyposensitive, that means that they have a harder time picking up this sensation. And both hypo and hyper can be impacted by stress. So either you are kind of disconnected from your body, maybe because you've experienced some sort of trauma, or maybe because you're too freaking busy and don't want to deal with it. And so you have cut off this like pathway because you just like, I don't want to deal with all these things that I have. I don't want to deal with it because I got things to do. I feel you on that. So you can become hyposensitive or you could be hypersensitive, which means anytime you feel anything in your body, you kind of freak out. You're like, oh my God, I have a chest pain. I'm going to have a heart attack. Oh my God, my stomach hurts. I have cancer. Oh my God, my back hurts. There's a tumor. Oh, I have a headache. Oh, my brain aneurysm. Like we can really go down there. And trust me, I've probably experienced that too. I'm sure at some point, all of us really have been a little hyper or hypo sensitive when it comes to interoception. But again, the more that you really practice it and the more you understand your body, the more your body will communicate with you, the quicker you'll be able to communicate with your body. And ultimately, just the better you will feel, because I think that is what is really most important. I think deep down, that's what we all want, is to just feel good. And I believe that this life journey that we're on is one where we are here to learn, grow, and heal. And there's never like this final destination, well, until your resting place, I guess. But in life, during your living, waking life, you don't like really arrive somewhere. Like every time you reach a goal, you just create a new one. So every time you get to a new, say, level of pain freedom, you probably are going to try something new that might put you right back in there. Because if you're, someone like me and like to challenge yourself, especially in the gym, you might just one day be like, oh, probably shouldn't have done that, but I don't know until I try. And so I say that because I don't want to give the impression that a pain-free lifestyle or pain-free living means that you're never going to experience pain. The goal is not to never experience pain. The goal is to know what to do about it when it happens. Let's talk about how to listen to your body. Now, first things first, you want to get centered and grounded. This means maybe just take a breath. Just take a breath and make yourself as calm and peaceful as possible. Even if this is at the gym, like you can practice this stuff at home, which I definitely recommend. But in the gym, you can also just stand there for a second, just put your feet on the floor, notice your feet underneath the floor, notice your body, and just take a breath and be like, I'm ready for you, body. And then the next step is to ask your body to reveal to you what it needs. And when you're doing this at home, you're going to be pretty still, right? But when you are at the gym, you're going to be moving. And so you don't have to be still. You just want to be present and be mindful during those movements so you can sense what's going on. You can just quickly kind of scan through and see, what do you feel? And do you feel any tension anywhere? And if you do, try to relax that before you start moving, first of all, because sometimes the reason that we even have those pains is because we're just a little bit tense and our bodies are just kind of like twisted and stuff. So we can take a minute to try to relieve that a little bit. And then once you do pick up something, make your adjustments based on what you feel. So I'm going to share in a second, like things that you might feel and what you can do about it. But basically, when you are doing the movements in the gym, and at any point you'll feel a sensation. So you don't have to necessarily be focused on this the whole time. Like really, you shouldn't be focused on this the whole time, because this can go back to that being hypersensitive to the interoception, which you don't want to. You don't want it to be like a stressful thing. You just want to be like, hey, I'm here. I'm going to listen. Show me what you need. And you'll pick it up. You'll notice, oh, a little pain. Oh, a little thing. Oh, I feel like my shoulders are rounding forward. I'm feeling like I'm arching my back, or I'm feeling like putting too much pressure on my toes rather than my heel, which is why I love all the little pointers that the trainers give us, because if you really pay attention to what they say, like, oh, you should feel it in this area, or put pressure here, and you will then feel it like in your glutes, for instance, if you're pushing down your heel versus your toes. Paying attention to that will help you become more mindful. And again, like really connect with your body, because we are all so much up in our head a lot of the times. And that can be why we end up like getting injured or having pain, is we're just not fully connected. So this practice of just listening to your body is building that connection. It's building that connection from your mind to your body. And so you are able to be more aware. You can make those adjustments more quickly. You can pick up those things a lot quicker. So the more that you do this, and especially the more that you act based on what you picked up, the more you will build that relationship with your body. You will build that pathway. And the more quickly you'll be able to pick it up. Number one, move mindfully. I just talked about this a little bit. When you are working out and making sure that you're engaging those muscles that you want to engage, in building that mind muscle connection, which is also mind body connection when you're doing the actual workouts. So that's another number one thing. Make sure that you're working out what you need to work out, because in that movement, it might hurt because you're doing it wrong. That's just the number one thing. You just might be doing it wrong. And that's okay. With every single one of these sensations, something to also keep in mind is like how intense it is, how long it lasts, so its duration, and the tone. The first is a sharp pain. A sharp pain is usually one that you want to be more mindful of. And this can be like an indicator that, you might be on the verge of really hurting yourself. And so you definitely want to slow down. Doesn't mean you have to stop. Now, again, if this is very intense or if it lasts longer, so it might be, if it's more than just like this little tiny sharp pain, maybe you could still do that workout, just modify that actual exercise and adjust it to maybe like not go down so deep or lower the weights, something like that. But if it's really intense sharp pain, you might want to just avoid the exercise altogether. Like when I was dealing with my knee issue, I just avoided squats and lunges for a couple weeks. And I don't even know if it was really that long, because I worked out still 5 days a week, which is one of the reasons I think it healed so quickly, is because I just kept moving it and I was really mindful with my movements. But I did omit those exercises at times, because it just hurt so bad, and there's no point in like pushing it. Now, at the same time, if it's like more of a dull pain, this might be that you just need to warm up. Pain usually comes about 30 minutes or so into the workout. And that is because it's kind of like the muscle is like, hey, I've kind of had enough. I've worked out as much as I can today. Thank you. I want to just kind of relax now. Mine is like the opposite. Like it takes me so long, especially when it's cold outside, that to warm up, that like I have like a dull pain. Even sometimes like my feet will go numb on the bottom. Like this happens during like our plyo days. And I'm like, oh my God, I seriously can't feel my feet. And in that case, you just want to slow down. Like you don't, again, want to like push through, because that pain is still an indicator that you can't be at your full level right now. You need to give your body some time to either warm up in my case, or maybe it needs to slow down because it's already been overworked. Other things that you might feel, you could feel like a pull or tightness often, is what people experience. And that tightness, like a tight muscle, could just be actually that muscle is being overstretched. So if you're feeling tightness in your back, it might be that you're actually coming forward and like your abdominals are shortened and it's putting pressure on your back, for instance. So in that case, if you're feeling a tightness, the first thing you probably want to do is like stretch that area. I don't think it probably is not really going to do anything. And you will know if you listen to your body, because if you actually stretch that area and it doesn't get better after the stretch, or that stretch doesn't lessen, then didn't need to be stretched. But what does need to be stretched is the opposing muscle. So for instance, if like, oh, I'm feeling that tightness in my back, instead of trying to stretch your back and come forward, actually open up your chest and your abdomen and kind of contract your back, because those back muscles are probably being overstretched. So another sensation you might feel is a cramp. This is kind of like a Charlie horse, or like, oh, something just locks up real quick. Now, in this case, especially this happens like at the gym, you can just stretch it right away and massage it, do like more kneading stuff. Think of like kneading bread and do that to your muscle and do like a slow stretch, like just stretch into it real easily. And then again, allow it to release. That can help. Now, if you're having this at home, you can also use heat. Heat is really good to relieve cramps because it helps to soften the fibers so they can release. And then you'd want to stretch it. Also, another thing you can feel is a spasm, and this is kind of like a twitch in your muscle. And there are multiple reasons for this. It can be an electrolyte imbalance, or it could also be that those muscle fibers are again like they're coming together. They're like almost over tight, but they're trying to relax and they're trying to relax, but they keep coming back because they can't relax because they've been overworked kind of. And so it's kind of like this push-pull thing with your muscle inside. And it's not something that's going to be harmful to you, and you can still continue to work out. I would just still monitor it. And if you just get a message maybe that like, hey, I should slow down a little bit, then you can do that. But I would definitely put some heat on that and make sure that your fluids and electrolytes are all in balance and stuff. That's super important. Another thing you can feel is numbness. Like I mentioned this with my feet. There's the bottoms of my feet were numb. And sometimes I feel like when I get these things, I'm like, if I were like anyone else, I would be so freaked out right now. I'm like, that is weird. I need to walk on these feet and I can't. They feel funny. But in that case, I think you can still continue to work through it. But again, you want to slow down and wait for that to go away. For me, it takes about 10 minutes. Even if I actually make it on time for the warm up, it still gives me like 10 minutes. I need to find some sort of like full body suit. I was going to look up leg warmers and I figured I would just find these like really long socks, but maybe if you know like any leg warmers, any of my runners out there, if you have like actual like actual like the compression pants, but like warmers and I can like just put them on before I leave the house. I don't know. It's kind of annoying, honestly, but it's also just because, like we can't be like, oh my God, all these things are so great. And don't worry about it, guys. Like, have your feelings about it. Have your feelings. Like, it sucks when your body is doing weird things and you want to move and you want to do things. However, like I said before, like our life's purpose is to learn, grow, and heal. And it's a journey. So don't get so mad at yourself or mad at your body because it's just trying to talk to you and just trying to communicate with you so you ultimately can have a happy, healthy, pain-free life. So some other things that these different sensations could mean, like in general, like when you are experiencing pain, whether acute or chronic, even if it's an injury or not related, you're like, I have no idea how this happened. I literally woke up like this. What your body may be trying to tell you are a few different things. And these are in no like order, but I will share with you some different things that your body may be asking you to do. That doesn't necessarily mean inside the gym. So we talked about how you can adjust things while you're inside the gym, but these are also things about what in general, like your body might be asking you to do that maybe you're not doing enough of. So it might be telling you that you need to stretch or strengthen another area. When I work on an area of pain, I look for what muscle is being either overworked right now, is usually the first place I go to, and then what's being overly stretched. But often, like that muscle that needs the work done, most of the time, and this is most of the time, not always, but most of the time it's because that muscle is like extra, extra strong. It's getting too tight, it's getting actually shortened and cramping up, and creating pain. But the reason that's happening often is because it's taking up the work of another muscle. So you might need to strengthen a different area. So, and for instance, my knee pain, what I really need to work on, and I am working on, is strengthening my hips and strengthening the adduction, abduction, and some circumduction and stuff. I'm just kind of getting my hips strong so then my knees don't have to work, and really so my quads don't have to work so hard. Again, strengthen another area, or just like strengthen it in general. Like sometimes like that's why we're experiencing pain, because our body is trying to tell us like, get your butt up and move. Like I need you to build some muscle so we can do things. It also might be telling you to take a rest day. Maybe you're someone who's like, if I don't work out 6 days a week, I'm a failure. And first off, that's not true. Secondly, depending on what your allostatic load is, which your Allostatic load is like the total amount of stress that you're under. So say you work a full-time job and have 3 kids, working out 6 days a week may not be the best. Maybe you're doing that because you need to get time. And so, hey, if you can get out of your house 6 days a week, maybe like 2 of those days, like take a walk instead, And again, this is if you're actually having an issue. So it could be that you need a rest day. It also could be that you need to move your body more. Like I said, sometimes the reason you're in pain or even seek, going and working out is because your body's like, hey, I need you to get up and do stuff, right? But maybe too, not just not just like in the workouts, but if you work out just for 45 minutes a day and then go home and sit on the couch all day, you're not going to be feeling that great probably. Because number one, everything you just worked out just stiffened up, and you need to continuously move to kind of get the fluid buildup out, release that lactic acid and stuff. So maybe you just need to add like a walk every day or something, or multiple times a week. Other things that your body could be telling you is that you need to drink more water or have your electrolytes balanced more. Because sometimes you could drink a lot of water and just pee it out. And that could be because you're either like consuming too much water at one point or because your electrolytes are off. Also, it could be telling you to fuel your body better. Maybe you're in pain because you haven't fueled yourself. You've moved in a way that your body wasn't ready for because maybe you're not connected to your body to know, like, oh, hey, I'm not ready for that. I don't have the energy to like burst off like that because you haven't had carbs in 3 weeks, like, food is really important and we need to fuel our bodies in order to perform and do what we want to do. Also, it could be telling you to get more quality sleep, like actual quality sleep. And I don't care if you have a tracker that tracks this. The only person who's really going to know, again, listening to your body, the only person who's really going to know how well you sleep is yourself. So you might need to get a little bit more sleep, quality sleep. Lower your stress. Talked about that before. I don't think you can eliminate it all, but I do think that you can lower it. And maybe even more importantly, to lowering your stress, how about your body might be telling you to increase your resilience to stress, which working out actually increases your stress resilience. Something else that I wanted to talk about is energy levels. So, how tired you are, how much energy you have. Like, this is another way that your body talks to you. And this is how your body can let you know if you do need more of that quality of sleep, or, if you need to move a little bit more to create energy. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but actually working out and exercising, moving your body creates energy. So you think it uses energy, but it creates energy. And so often, especially as women, we take care of so many things. I know I have 2 girls. I work, and I am like the primary person to take care of like everything at my house, because my husband works a ton. He helps out when he's at home, but like he's just not at home that much, right? And so I have a lot of stuff on my plate. And so sometimes you would feel like, gosh, I do so much stuff that I don't want to move because I don't want to exert this energy. But the truth is, you're giving all your energy to someone else. That's not going to make you feel good. You want to give that energy to yourself, and that actually creates energy. So moving will help to create energy. So pay attention, though, to those energy levels to know, like, do I need more rest? Do I need more movement or whatever? And then one final thing I wanted to mention is there was a question about how your cycle affects your ability to listen to your body, or if that's part of listening to your body. And 100% yes, it is. As a woman, especially as a cycling woman, your everything we just talked about, your energy levels, your anxiousness, your hunger, satiety, even the pain sensations that you will feel in your body, that all can fluctuate just based on your hormones. There's going to be periods of the month where you are naturally more hungry because your body actually burns more calories. And there's going to be other times of the month that you actually burn fewer calories. And so you're naturally going to be less hungry. So that's why personally, like when I have my group coaching program, we do something called mindful tracking versus just eating the same thing or same amount of calories, like day in and day out, because you have to listen to your body. And ultimately, none of those things are anything you're going to want to do like the rest of your life. It's just a tool to get you to where you want to be. And then you just maintain by listening. And having that baseline knowledge seriously is still really important. I don't like all the guides and following like a specific plan. I want you to create your own plan for it. So let's just recap. what we've been talking about is basically tuning into your body and asking it what it needs and adjusting or taking action based on that. So we talked about interoception, and you can build that ability and strengthen that ability and strengthen your confidence in being able to listen to your body and strengthen your body's ability to communicate with you. So it ends up being something that happens so quick, you might not even realize you're doing it. So just continue to practice it and let it become second nature, because it is. And I would love for you to use massage, stretching, and mindful movement to relieve your pain. So the mindful movement is that intentional exercise, and that we talked about with all the different ways that different sensations that you can feel. And I really want you to pay attention to those other cues in your body too, because that's going to help you with your pain, but also your overall health and well-being. Just remember that listening to your body is being mindful and willing to make adjustments to manage your pain. So again, you can live a healthy, happy life. That is important. Just picking it up isn't enough. You have to then take action and be willing to make adjustments, because a lot of times, again, we got things to do. We want to do this certain exercise. I don't want to have to wait for my body to be ready. I'm ready right now, but this journey called life is a long one, hopefully. And it's all about learning, growing, and healing. So allow those things to happen. Be proud of where you are right now. Honestly, be grateful for your body to be able to tell you this, for you to feel that pain so you can make these adjustments, and know that it's not always a bad thing to feel pain. It's, again, a way your body's communicating with you, and your body communicates with you means you can have a relationship with your body, and you and your body can really become one. But I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like and comment what your biggest takeaway is. And if you feel so inclined, I'd love for you to share it with someone who you think it could really benefit. And I will talk to you in our next episode. Hope you have an awesome day. And please go do something good for yourself, because you deserve it. Bye. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Pain-Free Lifestyle Podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this episode, and comment your biggest takeaway. Please remember that this podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. It does not replace medical advice. Always consult with your doctor for medical advice. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next episode.